Hello, we're the Dudes of Horror. I am Damien.
Wormboy,
And Toots.
and with special guest.
My lovely wife. I,
So
Say
we're
hi.
we're reviewing,
Hello.
guys, today a movie that we all saw on Netflix. You may have seen it, but
Netflix original.
it's a Netflix original. It's a pretty good movie, but it's The Perfection. Starts off, pretty much. I mean, Damien was saying, like, we don't really have a synopsis for it.
Well, it's
but-
hard to make a synopsis for this movie.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
we'll spoil it.
yeah, like with no spoilers, this movie's plot changes like 4 times or something like that. Or like, what did we say, Toots? It thickens.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
The plot continues to thicken and thicken. Like, you think you know what the movie's about, and then it's like,
And-
no, it's actually about this. And then so you're like, oh, okay, it's about this. But then it's like, no, it's actually about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
It's like you get M. Night Shyamalan fucked in the face.
Yeah, but in a good way, not like
Yeah.
typical,
But it's like,
not like The Happening or anything like that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Allison Williams
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
from Get Out, from Jordan Peele's Get Out. She plays like this like musical or like former musical prodigy, I guess. Like, and she went to like some really like exclusive school for like the most elite musicians in the country or
Yeah.
world, actually, or something like that.
Yeah, and the Academy.
The Academy.
Yeah.
And then so she kind of like goes to China.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to Shanghai and China to like find the new hotshot musician, like top musician from that academy, and they meet, and well, the new prodigy at the school is Lizzie, the character Lizzie, played by Logan Browning, and once they meet and they start interacting, all kinds of like chaos and mayhem takes place.
Yeah,
Like,
hilarity ensues.
yeah, that's an understatement.
I don't know about hilarity, but
But I mean, yeah, this
a lot of fucked up shit.
this is a psychological thriller horror
Horror thriller.
Mhm.
Yeah,
horror
horror
thriller.
thriller.
Mm-hmm.
There's gore in it. There's
Lots
like
of gore.
plot twists. There's like thriller aspects. I don't know.
Excitement.
What did y'all think of the movie?
Are you doing spoiler included or?
Yeah.
Well,
we're
when
spoiling.
Yeah,
we
we'll get into spoilers.
when we get to spoilers, we'll give
What
a
did I
spoiler. We'll give a spoiler warning when we get there. But for right now, just everybody like at the table just give their thoughts.
You
on
talking to me or are you
Talking to me?
talking to me?
Are you talking to
You're
me?
talking to me?
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good movie. Kept me going, like, in regards to not falling asleep. Other movies I would have fell asleep, honestly, But this one, I was like, wow, like, and then the plot thickens, like you guys were making fun of right now,
Mhm.
because it
We were
does.
making fun of
and- yeah, you were. Yeah, let's just agree to disagree on that. But I was saying, like, the movie is really entertaining. It's not scary to me. It's just fucked up, but in a good way. Well, not all of it. Some parts are not that great. Like, they give me the squeamish feeling. I'm sure you guys probably felt that, the squeamishness, like your stomach's all squeamy and stuff. But it's really great. It's well put together. I know I'm saying that wrong, but I'm tired. But the movie itself, I mean, it's really good. I can't say anything else because then I'm gonna spoil it. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. This movie, especially once it gets into the third act of the movie, it really made me feel uncomfortable. Almost to the extent of like Hereditary uncomfortable. I mean not to that extent. that was extremely uncomfortable.
Almost there.
Yeah, but this was almost there. It made me feel uncomfortable, but in a good way. In terms of, I really couldn't keep track in terms of where the movie was going, but especially with the different thickenings of the plot, as how we put it. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very well done. I like Steven Weber. I think he's a very good actor.
Where else has he come out in? Sorry to interrupt.
He's come out in Wings. He's come out in
iZombie.
iZombie. He's come out in
I haven't seen those shows.
the remake of the Shining as Jack Torrance.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He also came out in the Tales from the Crypt episode.
Wasn't he the dude that took a high heel to the eye in Single White Female?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Ouch.
I was like,
So he's still doing it.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
he's been working for a while.
he's still doing the thriller, the horror thrillers, like Single White Female.
Like this is the first time I've actually seen him do something where he's the main antagonist. I guess getting into spoilers, but at least we might as well
Yeah.
get
Well.
into it right now.
Well.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Well,
We can't agree on like.
Okay.
No, let's just wait. Just wait.
The plot is complicated enough that we really can't.
discuss it without saying spoilers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I thought the movie was really good. I liked it. It was very interesting. There was a lot of twists, like we said. I know that some people were complaining and saying that this movie was really disgusting to the point where people said that they were vomiting while they were watching it.
Come on.
But I don't really.
They probably needed some ibuprofen or something.
I didn't really think that it was that disgusting. I thought that there's definitely gore in this movie, but I didn't really see it as like over the top, gross.
I didn't either.
Like, what's that guy's name? The dude that made Green Inferno?
Eli Roth.
Like
Oh,
Eli
Eli
Roth, kind of like
Remember
It wasn't torture porn. It's
yes,
not torture
it's
porn.
not. It was gory, yes, but because it had to be in certain places, certain parts of the movie. But it wasn't just,
Just to do it.
I'm really trying to make you throw up. I'm trying to make you feel disgusted.
But you had said, right, Toots, like all the gore in this movie, like, serves a purpose.
It really
for the plot.
Yeah, like it really wasn't the gore itself. I think once it gets into the subject matter, in the last third of the movie, that's when it gets really like that to me. That's when it gets really disturbing and really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's when you start to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, you start putting all the pieces together.
Like it's like a intricate puzzle. You know, like
Yeah.
you finally like you see those times that they rewind back. I'm like, oh shit, that's why she did this, and oh, it's all coming together. you
Yeah,
know?
for one, like once it gets further into the movie, like it's a bit of a disservice to try to explain the plot, or right off the bat, or the synopsis, because there are so many pieces to this puzzle that just trying to explain one is not going to be enough.
Yeah.
What made me want to watch it is what you said to me, Debbie. When you said, because you saw it before I saw it, and you said something like, because I remember the first thing I asked was, is this one of those movies that's really like convoluted and hard to understand? Because I hate those kinds of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Debbie was like, no, like there's some parts you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, what is going on? And she's like, but everything will be explained, like crystal clear. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot then. Then I want to watch it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I wish they would have done some other things, but I'll get into that later. But I guess, can we spoil it now?
Yeah, might as well. All right. If you haven't seen it, so this is your warning that we're going to get into spoilers right
From
now.
this moment on out, it's spoilers. So you've been warned. Spoiler warning. So who's gonna go?
So the thing that I found, like, at the first time I saw the movie, the part where she comes back, where Charlotte comes back and meets up with Anton, and then sees the new prodigy now, and from there, I'm like, oh, like she's probably gonna, like, I already had an idea, like she's probably gonna. It seems like she doesn't like her. She hates her because she took her spot. I'm like, who wouldn't feel that way? but then as you get to know her, like fuck, like she's giving her ibuprofen after they met and had sex, and I thought nothing of it, you know. And then they go to China together because she wants to.
They were already in China.
Were they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the plot thickens. So the thing for me was that, you know, when she found out that she was going to China with her, because she said, "Hey, I'll go with you, whatever." They go, and then there's this guy, and this is what threw me off. I don't know if it threw you guys off. Where there's this guy when the first night they're gonna party, before they take off.
Yeah.
There's this guy that's throwing up, and it's all green, and they're like saying on the news, or they're saying like, "Oh, there's this bug going on." So I thought it was gonna be like a Contagion movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh shit, this is probably what's happening with her," but I didn't see that because those stupid signs, right? Just let it out, Damien. You're laughing.
What would it?
What would that? No, I want to hear.
No, because it doesn't have anything to do with the movie.
Contagion?
No. I've never even seen Contagion.
Oh, it's scary.
But I was right there with you guys on that part. I was thinking like, okay, because I had seen the trailer. I had seen the part where Lizzie's like freaking out and she's got like
The arm?
worms or whatever in her arm.
Yeah,
So I
the
was thinking
bugs.
like, okay, it's like something like that. If it's not a complete like outbreak movie, that's gonna be something.
That's what I thought it was gonna be, honestly, too. But then you start to put the pieces together again, and then you're like, oh, okay, this has much more meaning. And I mean, I can go on further, but you know, what did you guys see? Like,
Well, Debbie. You
Oh no! Oh, yeah. That's what happened to me too. I saw the trailer and I figured it was just gonna be like some kind of like Slither kind of movie.
yeah, like an infection movie.
Yeah, like some kind of something was going on where their people had bugs in their skin, and yeah, that guy at the performance that they had that was throwing up. I thought maybe, you know, something, everybody was gonna start catching something, but for the most part, I was figuring out what was going on before it would happen. I was kind of ruining the movie for Ruben because I would tell him, "Oh, this is gonna happen," or "This happened," or whatever.
it's like you've done it before. Maybe you did that to someone before.
But I mean, the only thing that kind of threw me off was that I really did think that Charlotte's sole purpose was to sabotage Lizzie because she wanted to be in her place, you know, because we didn't mention earlier, but she had to leave that music school when she was really young because she had to go take care of her mother because her mother was sick. And now that her mother died, she's, well, pretty much basically how they make it seem is now she's finally free to live her own life. And so I at first thought that was going to be her sole purpose, was to do something to destroy Lizzie's career so that she could kind of, you know, step back in right where she left off. But it's not until later on that you find out that what she's really there to do is to save her from the life that she already, you know, has been, that she already lived and has desperately been trying to kind of, you know, heal from.
But clearly, she in the beginning, she's having like flashbacks and she's screaming.
Yeah.
So that's already showing you like, oh, something's wrong with her.
I think one minor detail that they put in the movie, and I remember I first caught it when I saw it, was when she was calling Anton and Paloma. So Paloma is Anton's wife. Anton's the person that actually runs the academy with the cellists and all that. And the way she worded it was something to the effect of like, well, I was taking care of my mother, but my mother is fine. You know, I'm finally free.
Yeah.
Like she died, and I'm finally free. And I remember kind of thinking like, oh man, that's kind of heartless. You know, I was like, oh shit, I'm finally done with this.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they kind of put that in there just to make it seem like she's a bit heartless.
Yeah.
Just to get into later on in the film when, you know, it turns out that she drugs Lizzie, who's like the new, you know, prodigy.
Yeah.
You know, and makes it seem like, oh, she's a heartless bitch and she did this to, you know,
Get ahead.
for her to get ahead. You know, for her to get ahead and basically Lizzie ends up chopping her own hand off. You know, so obviously she can't play anymore. You know, so I think they kind of put that in there.
To kind of make her seem like the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To throw you off.
Yeah, to throw you off a little bit, even at the very beginning. You know, because whenever somebody goes through that, yeah, like you really don't say like, oh, I'm finally free. Although you
might feel
kind of,
that way, but you don't say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. You do kind of feel that way, and you do say, well, you know, they're no longer suffering. You know.
Yeah.
But the way she kind of put it was a bit like, oh yeah, like, oh, I'm finally free from this.
Thank God.
You know. Yeah, exactly.
Even when Anton speaks in front of all the people and says like who she is and says like that she left the academy when she was young to take care of her family, he even says it in front of everybody, like, but now her mother's like you know, like yay, now her mother's dead, pretty much, like the way he made it seem.
Exactly.
It was kind of weird the way they made her mother's death seem like a yay, finally.
Which is actually a bit poignant into later on in the film, because
of how you find out they really are.
Because the way she kind of put it in the movie is a little bit of a ruse, in my opinion, but the way he says it is actually kind of true to his character.
Yeah, because music is everything and above everything.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at me. But it's like that moment in the movie, that's like the first like plot reveal, like where you think like, okay, that's what this movie's gonna be about. It's gonna be about like these two, like, they're kind of like the movie The Prestige. The two, you know,
the magicians.
Yeah, you have like these two like battling magicians, and I was thinking like, okay, there's gonna be something like that in this movie. Like, it's gonna be about these two like battling musicians. And then it's like, then it's revealed, like, after that, it's revealed that Charlotte's actual intention was to protect Lizzie from the academy. And and then she even tells her, she said, I knew, because she says something like, you were so deep in it that I knew the only way I could, like, get you free was, like, to sever her hand. So she couldn't play music anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
So basically this movie kind of plays you in terms of, you think it's one thing, then
it's another.
It's another, and then it's another.
Yeah.
So basically, in a nutshell, it makes you think, at least for me, it makes you think that it's like a contagion movie, where you think, oh, this disease is spreading because the guy at the beginning like is vomiting.
Yeah, and then Lizzie goes to that restaurant, remember, and she's like eating this nasty ass soup. And I'm like, and then the girl's not eating, and I was wondering like, why is she not eating? Charlotte's not eating, but Lizzie is. And I'm just like, what? Like, and then when you go back, I was like, oh, that's where she got the, what's it called, the cleaver.
Yeah.
And she was drugging her. I would like to know what pills those were, not so I can take them.
They were her mother's medication.
Yeah,
I know, but what were they for?
I don't know.
Like, because they make you hallucinate.
Yeah.
With alcohol, probably.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's something for somebody with cancer, because I don't know. But that's what I'm assuming, because I mean, some of the side effects for those kinds of medicines are pretty rough.
And I actually tried to count them. She took 2 when she woke up, and then she took like 6 or 7 more.
I think it was like 4 more
at the bus.
On the bus.
And then I was like, okay, that's already too much.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't OD,
I know.
because that's a lot of pills.
Yeah. So basically, in the movie, it makes you think it's a contagion movie, and then basically what the movie does is it rewinds to where you see what actually happened, and then you think, oh, it's a jealousy. It's envy, where, Charlotte is against Lizzie and she's trying to screw her over, and then it rewinds again, and you actually think, okay, they're actually in cahoots, and they're actually going against Anton, the head of the music academy for the cellists.
But when Lizzie like confronted Charlotte at her house, that was actually like, she actually
broken from the brainwashing it.
Yeah, like they hadn't like teamed up, so to say, yet at that point.
Yeah.
And then she got her with the taser,
The taser, yeah.
and then when she was laid out and helpless, she started talking to her, and she said something at that point. She realized like
She's
you
right.
were right what you said
Yeah.
on the road or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once Anton doesn't have a use for you, then he just will toss you aside.
Yeah.
And that's what Anton did. He didn't
Yeah.
want her anymore because she didn't have an
Because she
arm.
couldn't play.
And
So she took it really bad, and then she went and killed or tried to kill this Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a racehorse that breaks its leg.
mm-hmm.
It's like they just discard you. Like,
No, and I can see how that makes a connection to society as a whole, you know, because in many places, not everywhere, but it's more apparent now where, like, in the workplace, for example, a lot of people are saying, like, well, you're easily replaceable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once they know you can't do this anymore, you know, well, they'll just replace you with someone else. you
Yeah,
know?
it's like in Tropic Thunder. You know?
Yeah.
And now this monkey can do your job.
Or with a machine or something. But what happens in this one, like, she knows that she was a very good cellist, and you can see the pain in her eyes. Like, she hates her.
Yeah.
But then she realizes, like, no,
That's the only way she could be free.
I'm free now
Yeah.
from all the, you know,
and
things
then,
they're doing.
and then that leads to the second, what I like to call the rewind edit,
Mm-hmm.
where they, because she ends up kidnapping, Lizzie ends up kidnapping Charlotte.
But
Yeah.
they're already in
And-
cahoots.
Yeah,
There.
but you don't know that yet.
Yeah.
And she takes her, she drives up to the academy, and then Anton's there, like at the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and Anton and Paloma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and and Lizzie's kind of like, well, now I have something that you want.
Yeah.
So, and then she's like, oh, I have her in the trunk, whatever, you know. And at that point, you don't know that Charlotte and Lizzie have teamed up to like get back at Anton. And then that's the part where they take her into the house, and they go to that, what do they call it, the chapel? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, the chapel.
the room that has like perfect acoustics.
Acoustics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then once they're about to start torturing Charlotte, isn't that the point where it goes back to the
It rewinds.
it does the edit rewind,
Yeah.
does the
Yeah.
rewind
Yeah.
edit again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the reason they have this animosity towards Anton, and it's a very well deserved animosity, and whatever else you want to call it, resentment or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, whatever else you want to call it, hate, you know, hatred, rage, is because while he was teaching them at a younger age, and it flashbacks to Charlotte as like a 14-year-old girl studying in this academy, that you know, whenever she makes a mistake and she's trying to play this piece called The Perfection, that whenever she does make a mistake, you know, he hears it, Anton hears it, and then you know, and he basically lectures her and tries to brainwash her in terms of, you know, this is beyond humanity and this and that. This is basically, this
God's
room is
work.
for God. Yeah, this is God's work and this and that. And basically, whenever she makes a mistake and she has to pay the price, basically the price is rape. Basically, there's no other way to put it. That's
No, we're laughing because you just said basically like 80 times in a row. Definitely not laughing at the subject matter. We're laughing because you just
No, we're laughing at basically.
because
that's
because
Well, but see-
basically that's what it
basically
is.
okay.
And
That's what it
Okay.
is.
the second rewind edit.
Whoa. All right.
The second rewind edit in the movie goes back, and they show how Charlotte and Lizzie.
I don't mean to say basically so many times, but that's the
shit.
bare bones of it.
There's got to be another
Another
word.
word.
I'm gonna get you a
Essentially,
thesaurus.
essentially.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just gonna chill.
Essentially.
I'm gonna chill over here until y'all hash this out.
No, we're done.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're done.
No, we're
We're
done.
done.
We're
I'm
done.
like, go ahead, break it down.
In other words.
Oh. Stop.
No,
Hammer
and
time.
see, at that point, at that point in the movie, you didn't know about all the
Sexual abuse.
Yeah,
exactly.
the sexual abuse at the academy, and it does that rewind edit again. And I say that because it's like literally, like you were saying, Warm Boy, how you hear the noise, like
Yeah.
like the tapes rewinding,
Yeah.
like the old VHS.
It takes me back.
And then it's like, and then they show that once she was confronting Charlotte at her house, where you think she was gonna like try to kill her or something, that they actually team up and they kind of like have this
Plan.
like a conspiracy plan to like go and confront Anton at the house, and that leads to the third act.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
The final act.
yeah,
Yeah. So
And so what I liked about this movie is that even though the subject matter was extremely disturbing with all of the sexual abuse, and one of the reasons why Charlotte knew that Lizzie was being sexually abused also was because of the tattoo. And so every girl who has that music note tattoo on their back, you already know that they have also been sexually abused by Anton and those other two teachers that work there. His wife, what's her name again?
Paloma.
She's
complicit.
She's completely aware of the abuse, and she does nothing because she, like all the other people, have been brainwashed. You learn that not only the girls that have gone to that school have been abused, but Anton himself was abused by his father because he was a music teacher. The other two male teachers were also sexually abused. So it's just this thing, this brainwashing thing, this cycle that just continues and continues and continues, where they don't even see themselves as monsters. They think that this is the way you teach, this is the way you punish, this is the way that these children will learn how to be perfect. But what I liked was that through everything that they showed, there was no actual like visual representation of the sexual abuse. And so even though everything was still disturbing in its own way, just hearing about it, I like that they didn't actually include any visual representation of it, because a lot of movies nowadays use sexual assault as a way of entertainment, and I think that's disgusting. And this movie shows that you don't need to have that rape scene or that sexual assault scene for the movie to be educational and entertaining. And so that's one of the main things that I loved about this movie.
Yeah, it's less is more.
Yes.
And the most they'll show, if anything, is just
Anton naked.
an out of focus. Yeah, an out of focus shot of Anton naked,
walking towards her.
Yeah, walking towards the
rocking
camera.
like with
rocking,
a chair. Or what?
not rocking, walking towards the camera.
Yeah.
so it's basically inferred.
It's inferred. Yeah,
It's not like
It's inferred into the
It's
whole...
not. It's not like Last House on the Left or.
Oh god.
something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't watch those kinds of movies.
yeah. Like I mentioned before, it's not torture porn in terms of like Eli Roth or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or Rob Zombie.
It's a little more. It's more psychological. It's a lot more of the elements you have to piece together in your mind.
Yeah, and it has the plot is really good. The acting is really good.
Mm-hmm.
The story, the message, like everything, like I really enjoyed it. And for it being a Netflix movie, I wasn't really expecting much.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's just another Netflix movie, whatever. But like, no, this one's a pretty good movie. Like, I think it should have been in the theaters.
Yeah.
Because it deserves that. Because it's that good of a movie that I would go see it.
And I think what surprised me also was the length of the movie itself, which was about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which nowadays usually a movie will go for like 2 hours to
Yeah.
2.5 hours. You know, but the fact that they managed to keep it at an hour and a half, which is something that really isn't done a whole lot these days, and is able to convey a story.
Yeah, that well.
Yeah, that well.
And the pacing doesn't suffer.
Yeah. The
No.
pacing isn't.
It didn't feel rushed or anything.
Yeah, it didn't
No.
feel rushed. Everything felt. The pacing itself was very well done. And like I said, once it gets broken down in terms of it gets into the sexual assault and all that, yeah, it makes you feel very uncomfortable. But it's uncomfortable in terms of Like how you said, Debbie, like where it's educational and entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable, but in a good way, so to speak.
Because they get revenge.
Yeah, they do get their revenge. But
And the revenge is very disturbing too.
yeah.
To me, I mean, what happens is that Charlotte ends up, or Lizzie ends up killing the two teachers while Anton is going to put I forgot her name, the new young student
Oh, yes.
back in the room. And at that point, they already had drugged them and they fall. And before that, like, the disturbing part for me was that part where Lizzie was gonna, I guess, put her stump into
She was
Lizzie.
gonna stump.
And that was
Charlotte.
and
She
that
was
was
gonna
just
stump
really
Charlotte.
disgusting. I was like, I hope they don't show this or even
Yeah.
do it. But thankfully, the two guys fall, and then she helps her out, and she kisses her, and then they go and get Paloma. They stab her and drug her, and then Anton sees Paloma, and Paloma just falls in front of him, and he's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, they finally see him." It's the both of them against him, and they both have a knife, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so they attack him pretty much to kill him, but
And there's a little bit of gore in that scene too.
Mhm. Yeah.
the fucked up gore part for me was the hand.
Arm.
Like,
Yeah.
damn, like he goes all the way through and then he just fillets it like
Yeah.
a fish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you go fishing and you fillet that motherfucking fish, you know? I was like, this bitch.
So basically, he renders Charlotte's arm useless.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she has to have that amputated. So
But then I understand why they did that though.
Yeah.
Because at the end they play the perfection.
they're both
Both together.
They're both sitting behind one cello, and they're both using the one arm they have left
Yeah.
to
And they're
play
playing.
to play it together.
Well, it's because together they were perfect.
Yeah,
That was the perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's why I think I was.
Right?
No, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Oh,
earlier.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
gonna
that's
say
what I
that.
thought.
I was gonna say that earlier when you were talking about what the perfection meant. Like, oh, that was the name of the piece of music, and I think that title has like multiple meanings.
Yeah, it has an
Like-
abstract meaning to it.
I think that part at the end where they've severed all of Anton's limbs and he's
Mhm.
just sitting on the couch like he's basically like a torso.
Stumpy,
with-
yeah.
He's just a torso with a head.
Mhm.
I
with
think
a,
all
hooked
he
up
can.
to an IV, and he's being forced to watch them.
He's not
He
watching.
doesn't have eyes.
Or okay,
The only thing he has
can
is
only,
ears.
He can only
Yeah.
hear.
and it's like that's the perfection. Like
Yeah.
that's their big moment, like their perfect moment.
To me, the also the meaning behind all of that was that they finally saw everything clearly and they were able to fight back because, I mean, Lizzie was finally not brainwashed anymore and they had gotten the revenge that they deserved, and now they can make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. And I'm sure more than likely they're going to continue to run the school, but now they don't have to worry about anybody being sexually abused anymore.
Yeah, but the fucked up part. No, I'm joking. But is this a joke? That would be fucked up if they make like part 2. Like,
And they became like them?
no.
Oh.
No. If the thing is they chop off your hands so they could be perfect. Like,
Oh, so they
One in
two
one.
people have to always...
yeah. Or like
Oh.
these
That's the new curriculum.
These two prodigies are awesome.
You have a
Alright,
really
it'd be
good
like-
left hand and you have a
Yeah.
really good right
I
hand.
was
So
gonna
we're
say,
going to
like-
stick you guys together and
Alright,
make you into
who-
one person and
yeah,
sew
like-
you together.
Yeah, we're gonna sew you together.
Yeah.
No,
And
but
then-
they'll be like, all right, who wants to lose the right arm, and who wants to lose the left arm? Like you guys are working
or it
together.
could be where they purposely set them up for an accident. You know.
Yikes.
But you know what? I have to add what we were talking about earlier, Toots.
Mhm.
And it was ironic because all you guys mentioned Eli Roth. When I was watching this movie, and I know I'm gonna be like probably like alone here, but I was seeing a lot of parallels to the Hostel movies.
Yes.
But not the plot. No, hear me out though. Hear me out. Not the plot. The plot's like no, it's totally different. But I was just seeing. I guess a lot of like it's like the first thing was like okay, it's like young American students in a foreign country, just like Hostel, and then like I was saying, like there's a lot of like the mutilation scenes, but it's not in some like like dungeon with rusty pipes. It's like in this fancy setting with like classical music playing, like juxtaposed with like some sort of like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like juxtaposed with like it's with some sort of like mutilation going on, just like like in the Hostel movies.
Yeah.
So it was just little things like that, like not the plot or anything like that. It was just a lot of little things like that that I kept thinking about the Hostel movies.
Yeah, but I like the way the movie was constructed because, you know, once it got into the third act, and then it came to the point where, once Charlotte confronted Anton about what he's done in the past, that she gets like chained up, you know, and I kept thinking like, oh, what are you doing? I kept thinking like, oh, how is Charlotte gonna break out of this thing? She's probably gonna break one of the chains and like kick everybody's ass. But then it gets
She's gonna be Sarah Connor all of a sudden. Yeah,
she's gonna be the hero.
But yeah, I kept thinking like, how is she gonna get out of this one? And then that's when it gets into like, oh, Lizzie's in on it too.
Well, for me, that was extremely obvious, and I was telling Damien that was the only mistake that I saw in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Was that it's kind of like extremely noticeable that they're working together, because you already know that Lizzie had to go back to America to attack Charlotte in her home.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is no like conceivable way that she could have brought her all the way back to China as a prisoner. Like, that makes no sense.
I thought the Academy was somewhere in the United States.
No, I don't think it's in the United States.
The Academy is in Shanghai.
It's in China.
It's in China.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was telling Damien. I was like, to me, that was the only mistake that I saw. That it would have been a little bit more confusing, or a little bit more possible that Lizzie was still brainwashed if she would have caught up to Charlotte somewhere still in China and beat the crap out of her and taken her back to the Academy.
But she was
But the
at
fact,
home.
but the fact that she went all the way to America and then brought her to another country, I'm like, there's no way you can bring back a prisoner like that. Like, if she's gonna go through customs and everything, the airplane ride and everything, and be like, yes, I'm your prisoner.
They dropped the ball there.
That was the only mistake that I saw. But
Well, I'm dumb then because I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that one either.
I
I'm
didn't.
just finding out
I
right
didn't
now.
like them being a team. I didn't see coming. Like,
I already knew.
I didn't see it either. But I didn't even see the pills, dude. I thought they were ibuprofen. I mean, she had a hangover, you know. And
I was like,
she
yeah.
wanted to get better, but that's not what you give someone, ibuprofen. That's gonna make you bleed, son.
Your stomach.
Yeah.
It's gonna make your stomach bleed.
You give her like a caldo. Or
And you know that
something.
Damien had to love that part where the girl crapped herself, right? You love that part so much because that's like one of your like.
Crap. What part was that?
Remember when she
Outside
On the
Oh
bus.
yeah.
when she had
I'm
to?
gonna shit
again, again, good example. Eli Roth, The Green Inferno.
Yes, I know.
No.
Hey, maybe the
But they didn't
person who
show
made
it.
this movie likes Eli Roth, but knows how to write a
I
better
don't like
story.
Eli Roth's movies. They make me sick.
Yeah, they do. They make me sick.
No, they actually do make me sick, dude.
Maybe you liked Inglorious Bastards. Didn't he make
Yeah,
it?
but
That's Quentin
Oh, he
Tarantino.
just came out.
He
That's
just
right.
makes that one.
Okay, my bad. He just comes out.
And this one, since it was made by Miramax, I think that's why I had the chapters, like Pulp Fiction. You know how they had chapter 1, chapter 2,
Yeah.
chapter
Oh,
3,
like Kill Bill.
and then they went back and like the stories all at the end make sense.
At least it all made sense. That's what I'm glad about.
It was good. I mean, I recommend it. I give it a.
What do you give them, movie tuts?
Just say what you're gonna give it. Don't.
Yeah, you
make
don't
a-
have to.
You don't have to
Alright.
make a big spiel out of it.
all right.
Basically.
Basically.
I give it an A. I thought it was very well done. Like I said, like there were moments in the movie I really didn't see where the plot was going. And then, like I said, like I mentioned before, I thought it was, at first I thought it was like a Contagion movie, and I think what helped me also was I didn't see the trailer to it.
Oh,
I shouldn't have.
I didn't see the trailer to it, so I just went in cold like that. And at first I thought it was like Contagion movie. Then I thought it was a movie about envy, and then actually it turned out to be a movie about revenge. Yeah,
good old revenge.
What a
Yeah.
twist.
yeah. What a twist.
So for me, I would give the movie an A also because it's it's pretty good. I mean,
It's pretty
It's-
good.
Ruben gives it 2 thumbs up.
yeah, 2 thumbs up, and you know, it's entertaining. It keeps you going. You know, it keeps you like entertained throughout the whole movie. It's not just like, oh, you know, it doesn't even have a slow beginning. Like it picks up really fast, and I'm like it's good. It's just really good. You should go watch it, guys. You know,
And the red herrings are well done.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, they're well done.
Well,
Red
like-
Riding Hood,
They're
they're
very
done.
well seasoned.
The
Yeah.
guy puking at the beginning of the movie and them talking about like
I
some
think-
sort of
It's,
like
it stinks to throw you
some
off.
sort of sickness some sort of sickness like in the south. Like that's a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I know. I was joking.
I would give the movie a B plus.
How could you?
I think it's good. That's a good grade, a B plus.
No, it's not.
You've given worse movies
Passing.
better.
I know
It's passive.
you've given Teen Wolf. Yes, I'm bringing it up.
I give it a B plus.
So you think that this
Wait,
movie
wait.
is the
You're
same
putting
as
this movie the same as Teen?
That's
Oh
not.
my god, this is not the same.
Oh, Lord.
But that's not.
No,
Because
it's not the same thing. I know.
Teen Wolf,
a different genre.
Yeah, I know. That's
there's
different.
nostalgia there. So
Ooh.
there's also nostalgia with that movie. Like I don't have nostalgia with The Perfection because it came out last year.
So we'll redo this review in 10 years, and he'll give it an A+. Because then it will have nostalgia.
Because then he will have perfected himself.
All right. Well, what do you give it, Debbie?
I would give this movie an A, for sure. I think this is one of the best horror movies I've seen in a really, really long time. It's obviously not a monster horror, but it's still... We're the monsters. It's like I always said. Scariest monsters? Humans.
Humans.
So,
Yeah.
it had a really good message, especially with everything going on now where everybody's trying to be more open and honest about being sexually abused. And I think that this movie really does a good job of sending that message.
Yep.
There's a lot of people out there that are brainwashed and don't realize it. And it's a really good movie.
Yeah. So watch it, guys.
Yeah, we highly recommend it.
Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I mean, we're gonna upload this as soon as possible. Any ideas? I know Supermodel Music Man wanted to do a video for us. If you're hearing it, I'm sure you're gonna hear it. We're looking forward to doing that, but we still haven't received the message, so we're kind of depressed. No, I'm just joking. We look forward to doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let us know.
Oh, and please, if we always end up sitting around like trying to brainstorm and we can't think of anything, so if anybody that actually listens to our channel, like if anybody has some movie or some like horror video game or anything that you want us to review, just leave us a comment and tell us. So we'll be,
Or not just review, or just talk about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
or just do a podcast about it. Like
Yeah.
any horror movie, whatever, like anything horror. Like
So
we're the dudes of horror. I'm Damien
Worm Boy.
And Toots.
and my lovely wife.
Debbie.
Good night, y'all. See you next week. Have a good night. Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Noches.
Buenas noches.